Hey everyone, it's Colin here, and today I've got another video on the 1985 VF700c Honda Magna. Last week I tried to replace the coolant temperature sensor, and the previous owner, or one of the previous owners in their infinite wisdom, decided to epoxy it in place. And so that snapped off completely. And even trying to remove the stub of what was left of it with my screw extractors was unsuccessful. So today we're going to replace the thermostat, the temperature sensor, and the housing that those go into. Because to do this job, you're going to need a few things. On the parts side, because my coolant temperature sensor snapped off my housing, I had to get a whole new housing, as well as a coolant temperature sensor and a thermostat. Obviously, if you're just doing the thermostat, all you're going to need is that part. A bucket is useful to collect the coolant, and paper towels to help clean up. You will need some fresh coolant to replace what gets spilled. You will need a Phillips head screwdriver, or the Japanese Phillips head equivalent. You will need a 10mm and 12mm socket. These are deep sockets, but regular sockets will work just fine. A ratchet, and then a flat blade screwdriver for those hose clamps. You will also need some Teflon tape to seal in that coolant temp sensor. Let's get to it. The thermostat housing is located on the right-hand side of the motorcycle underneath this cover here, which can be removed with a screwdriver. Underneath, this is where the temperature sensor actually was, so you'll have to unplug this from yours if you're going to that step. And then we will need to undo these two hose clamps for the radiator and heater hoses. You'll want to place your bucket here underneath the housing as best you can, because as soon as you disconnect these, you will get a fair amount of coolant. Next, we're going to undo the thermostat mounting bolt, and also this ground lug. This will use your 10mm socket. Okay, here we have our old housing here, which I'm going to just disassemble for inspection purposes, because obviously I'm replacing the whole thing. Well, there's the original thermostat. Quite a bit of rust in there. I don't feel so bad about replacing that housing and thermostat at this point. They don't look too fresh. Anyway, old housing aside, let's get the new one assembled here. Here's our new housing, top and bottom. We're going to go ahead and take our new thermostat, which is an 80-degree opening model, and we're going to put it spring side down with the spring in the bottom portion there. And that should be do us nicely. The top part here has a gland for an O-ring that should come with your thermostat, so we'll go ahead and put that in there. I would not reuse the old one. They were pretty smashed and not so great looking. And we'll just go ahead and put these two together. And bolt it back up. Okay, here is my new temperature sensor, and I've gone ahead and put some Teflon tape on the threads for sealing rather than the epoxy or silicone or whatever they used last time. This replacement housing I got off eBay also had similar material on there, which I removed with carburetor cleaner. So we're going to go ahead and install this new sensor in the housing, which is what started this whole project off. And this gets tightened in with a 12mm socket. Alright, now we just go and put this thermostat housing back in. First thing we're going to do is tuck these wires up carefully and get the radiator side connection in. That's going to be our biggest challenge there initially. Then we'll go ahead and mount this guy up here using that 10mm bolt. Remember, on the 10mm bolt, this lug needs to be attached. Okay. Now we're going to plug in our new temperature sensor here. I might need to do a little crush that down just a smidge there to get that to hold better. That's pretty loose. We'll come back to that. Next, because this obviously isn't quite holding very well, I'm going to go ahead and pinch this bullet connector down just a bit to get that a better connection on the Then we'll go ahead and put this cover back on. Next, we're going to refill with coolant. We're over here on the left-hand side of the bike, and we're going to put some in here through the radiator fill cap, which has, again, another one of those Japanese-style Phillips head screws that lock the cap on. So you have to undo the screw before you can remove the cap. Obviously, only do this when the bike is cold, otherwise you'll get burned. And we're going to top this off with some fresh 50/50 pre-diluted green antifreeze. Don't mind the water bottle. This is just my travel-sized container. The other coolant fill spot you want to top off is under here. Again, we're on the right-hand side of the bike, and this is the plastic cover that has a little rubber grommets there. This is your coolant overflow reservoir, and so you'll want to make sure you've got enough in here. There's actually a full high, full low. This actually doesn't need any more. You may not be able to see it on the camera there, but it's still at the full high level, which isn't surprising. It's given we just drained a low out of the top. This will probably come down. My next move here is to take it for a test drive, make sure everything's holding and not leaking, and it will pull the coolant level down here a little bit. So last thing to do is take this for a test drive and get the engine fully warmed up, make sure you don't have any coolant leaks, and then when you get home, top this tank up, because it'll pull some out of there in all likelihood. Well, that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.